Naomi, and welcome to Living the Journey with Naomi. Here on this channel, we talk about travel, money, mindsets, and the moments that shape us. So if you're building a life with purpose or just trying to protect your peace, you are not alone. And if you're just figuring it out, one flight, one fight, and one finance tip at a time, this is your space to breathe, build, and begin again. Welcome to Living the Journey with Naomi.
Today, we're talking about something most couples avoid until it's too late. Not the wedding, not the vows. We are talking about the prenup, the document that decides what happens when love meets reality. To be honest, falling in love is easy. Building a life is beautiful. But protecting that life, that takes courage. This isn't just about the money, it's about legacy. It's about trust and the fine print that can either protect you or destroy you. So let's go ahead and get started. Think about this for a second. You fall in love, you build a life, and then one day they want half, not just of your heart, but your business, your savings, your legacy. Have you ever loved someone so deeply, but wondered what would happen if it all fell apart? Drop a heart in the comments if you've seen love turn into litigation, or if you ever felt torn between romance and reality. So let me tell you a story. Dwight Howard, remember him? 8 times NBA All-Star champion. His wife filed for divorce after just 6 months. She wants half of everything. And then there's Tyreek Hill, NFL star, married for 15 months. No prenup, and now he's paying $500,000 up front, plus $20K to $50K a month. She's living in their $5.5 million Miami condo, and he's still covering the bills. Mortgage, utilities, even the Wi-Fi. And the court says more could be coming. 15 months of marriage, millions on the line, no prenup. And you may say, Naomi, that's not true. You must be kidding. No, I am not. Amber Rose, Dwight's wife of 6 months, wants half of everything he has. That's not just a breakup, that's financial ambush. So let's talk about the fine print. Yes, fine print. We all dream of forever, but forever has fine print. Let's look at what happens when love meets the law. Now, let's talk about 3 couples. Same love story, very different endings. Couple 1, Britney Spears, had a $60 million fortune. Sam Asghari walked away with a car and some gifts because of one thing, a prenup. That document didn't just protect her money, it protected her peace. Now, let's talk about story number 2. Let me tell you about a tech founder in Austin. He built his company from scratch before he ever met her. He had the idea, the prototype, the pitch deck, he got funding. 2 years of hard work, all before the wedding. Then they got married. No prenup, 18 months later, divorce. She claimed 40% of the company. She never wrote a line of code, never sat in a pitch meeting, never even invested $1. But the court agreed. Why? Because the company officially launched during the marriage, and without a prenup, it became marital asset. Even if she didn't help build it, the law still saw it as shared. She gave emotional support, she made sacrifices, she helped shape the lifestyle around the businesses, and that was enough. No prenup, no protection, just paperwork, courtrooms, and regret. He thought the company was his, she thought the marriage made it theirs. The law agreed with her. Not because she built it, but because she was there when it grew. Some couples don't marry at all. They cohabit. Why? Because they've seen spouses weaponize love for money. They've seen inheritance battles. They've seen someone lose everything they built in the name of romance. So let's talk about couple number 3. Sarah, a physician, had a prenup that outlined everything from her practice, her rental properties, even her retirement accounts. When the marriage ended after 12 years, there was no chaos nor courtroom, just clarity. Because when love ends, the legacy doesn't have to. So tell me, which story hit you the hardest? Britney's peace, founder's regrets, or Sarah's clarity? Comment down below. Peaceful prenup, startup heartbreak, or doctor's dignity. Let's talk about what protection really looks like. These stories aren't rare, they're real. So why do we keep pretending that prenups are taboo? Let's look at the numbers and the emotions behind them. Let's get real. Divorce isn't just emotional, it's financial warfare, and the numbers don't lie. Nearly 50% of marriages in the US end in divorce. That is 1 in 2. The average cost of a contested divorce is $15,000 to $30,000. 60% of divorced people say they wish they have signed a prenup. And among entrepreneurs, divorce is one of the top reasons for business failure. Even so, only 15% of married or engaged Americans have signed a prenup. But among millennials, that number jumps to 47%. Why? Because they've seen what happens when love meets litigation. 82% of millennials say prenups are smart, not scary. Millennials are not scared of prenups, so why don't more people do it? And 54% of people say it feels like a lack of trust. 60% of divorced people say they wish they had signed one. And 81% of attorneys say prenups reduce drama and legal costs. But here's the truth. Most people avoid prenups because they avoid hard conversations. But love without clarity, that's a gamble. Now we're going to be talking about the myths, the money, and the marriage. To be honest with you, the stats are sobering, but the stakes are high. And the real reason why most people avoid prenups is not the law. It's the lies we tell ourselves about love. Let me do this. Let's quickly talk about some of the myths that keep us vulnerable. Myth number 1, prenups are only for the rich. Wrong. You don't need millions, you need a mindset. Jasmine had $40,000 in student loans and a side hustle. Her fiance had a condo and some savings. They signed a prenup, not to protect wealth, but to protect peace. You don't need money, you need clarity. You don't need millions to sign a prenup, you just need a student loan or a child, or a dream you're not willing to lose. Because love is beautiful, but clarity is protection. Prenups aren't just for millionaires, they're for anyone with student debt, a business, a child, or a dream. Because love doesn't erase financial reality, it magnifies it. That's a good question. Yes, a prenup can protect both partners from getting tangled in each other's old debts. And why does that matter? Let's just say one person brings $80,000 in student loans into the marriage. No prenup, those debts can quietly creep into your shared life, especially if you co-sign a loan, share bank accounts, or split bills unevenly. A prenup says we're building a life together, but the money mess from before, that stays separate. It draws a clear line between shared dreams and personal responsibilities. It's like saying, I've got your back, but I'm not carrying your past. And that is a great question. Prenups will protect your child from previous relationships. Let me tell you about Maya. She was a single mom with a 10-year-old son. When she met Daniel, they fell in love, built a life, and planned a future together. But Maya had one non-negotiable issue. It was a sacred boundary, a line she would not cross. Her son's inheritance. To her, that's her son's future. Before the wedding, Maya worked with an attorney to draft a prenup. It clearly stated that her home, her savings, and the life insurance policy she set aside for her son will remain separate property, no matter what happened in the marriage. Daniel respected it, he signed it. And when Maya unexpectedly passed away, 5 years later, her son received everything she intended, without legal battles, without delays, without drama. Now let's go back to our discussion about the myths about prenups. Myth number 2. Some people would say prenups are cold. No, they're actually not. They're intimate. They say, I love you enough to be honest. Let me give you an example. Marcus and Lena cried while signing theirs, not because they were scared, but because they were finally saying the hard things out loud. A prenup isn't prediction of failure. It's a blueprint for peace. It's not about distrust. It's about transparency. Moving on to the third myth. If you trust someone, you don't need a prenup. Let me tell you, trust is beautiful, but trust without structure, that's blind faith. And I'm gonna give you an example. A woman gave up her career to support her husband's startup. 10 years later, he left with a younger lady, and she had no claim to the company, no prenup, no protection. A prenup doesn't mean you expect betrayal. It means you're brave enough to protect both of you, just in case. prenups. Now, let's move on to myth number 4. Prenups ruin the romance. Let's flip that. What's more romantic than saying, I want us to both be safe no matter what happens? I'm gonna follow that up with an example. Aubrey and Nash, they signed a prenup before the wedding. A year later, they didn't revisit it out of fear. They reread it with pride, not to change a thing, but to honor the journey they built together. Clarity isn't cold, it's commitment. Romance isn't just roses and vows. It is responsibility. It is legacy. It is love with a backbone. Now, let's move on to the last myth. Prenups are only for divorce. So wrong. They're also for death. Prenups are for disability. Prenups are for business disputes. And I'm gonna give you this last example. When Maya's husband died unexpectedly, their prenup protected her from his business creditors, so she was able to keep the house. She kept her peace. Most people think prenups are just for divorce, but they can also protect you if one partner dies or becomes disabled. If one partner dies without a prenup, your spouse might be legally entitled to half of your estate, even if your will says something different. Another example, a man wanted his daughter from a previous relationship to inherit his home, but when he died, his new wife claimed half, and the court gave it to her. A prenup could have protected his daughter's future. And if one partner becomes disabled, if someone gets sick or can't make decisions, a prenup can help protect their business, savings, or family assets. When she had a stroke, her prenup made sure her husband couldn't sell her rental properties or even touch her retirement account. It gave her time to recover without losing everything. Disability shouldn't mean financial vulnerability. Prenups aren't just about endings. They're about protecting what matters, no matter what life throws at you. So let's stop calling prenups cold. They're not the end of love. They're the beginning of clarity. Where you live can change everything. Let's break down the laws and the loopholes that shape your future. In the US, there are 2 types of states. Number 1, community property states. Everything earned during the marriage is split 50-50 by default. These include states like Arizona, California, Idaho, Louisiana, Nevada, New Mexico, Texas, Washington, and Wisconsin. The second type of state is equitable distribution states. Most states fall here. Assets divided based on fairness, not always equal. In a community property state, if you earn it together, it's split down the middle unless you have a prenup. A valid prenup can override state law and protect what you built. But here's the catch. Loopholes do exist. So if you signed a prenup, you thought you were safe. But here's the truth. Not all prenups hold up in court. If it was signed under pressure, if someone hid important financial info, or if the terms are unfair or illegal, that prenup can be thrown out. So let's talk about the different type of loopholes. Loophole number 1. Signed under pressure or duress. Imagine this. It's 3 days before the wedding, the venue is booked. Guests are flying in, and suddenly one partner says, sign this or it's off. This is actually a real case. A Brooklyn court threw out a prenup signed by a woman. She claimed she was emotionally pressured and didn't have time to review it, and the judge agreed. Loophole number 2, lack of full financial disclosure. A prenup is only as strong as the truth behind it. If one person hides assets, the whole thing can collapse. And this is another real case in Long Island. A woman proved her millionaire husband failed to disclose offshore accounts and businesses. The court invalidated the prenup due to fraud. Loophole number 3, unfair or unconscionable terms. If a prenup leaves one person broke, homeless, or stripped of basic rights, the judge can throw it out. A woman signed a prenup that gave her $0 in spousal support and no claim to share property. After 20 years of marriage and raising kids, the court ruled it as unconscionable and awarded her a fair settlement. The fourth loophole is no legal representation or review. If one party didn't have a lawyer or understand what they were signing, that prenup might not stand. For example, a man signed a prenup in a language he could not read. His wife had a lawyer, he didn't. The court ruled it invalid due to the lack of informed consent. So yes, prenups can protect you, but only if they're built on honesty, fairness, and time. Because a rush signature isn't love, it's a trap. And a hidden bank account isn't strategy, it's sabotage. Now let's talk about a healing perspective. A prenup isn't cold, it's clarity. It's saying, I love you enough to be honest. It's not about planning for divorce. It's about protecting peace. It's not selfish, it's strategic. A woman with 2 kids from a previous marriage used a prenup to protect her children's inheritance. Her new husband respected it, and they built a blended family with trust. Integrity is the new intimacy. So moving on, let's talk about some emotional triggers and real questions. So why does this topic hit so hard? Because it's not just about the money. It's about identity, trust, and fear. Some emotional triggers are fear of betrayal. Will they change once they have access? Another one is legacy anxiety. I built this before you. Do I have to share it? The last one is power dynamics. Who controls what and why? Let me give you an example. Do you guys know Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank? He insists on prenups in his family. He says it forces you to ask the real questions. Do you have debt? Or have you ever been bankrupt? Drop a heart in the comments if you've seen love turn into litigation. So now you know the facts, but what about the feelings? Let's talk about what this really means for love, legacy, and trust. So tell me, would you sign a prenup? Would you ask for one? Or does it feel like betrayal? Drop a heart in the comments if you've seen love turn into litigation. Tag someone who needs to hear this before they say I do. And comment below, yes to prenup, protect your peace. Or no prenup, love is trust. It depends what are we protecting? Don't chase the trend, become the moment. And before I wrap this up, I want to leave you with 5 questions to ask before marriage. These aren't just conversation starters, they are clarity builders. So the first question is ask your spouse, what does financial security mean to you? And how do we protect it together? Number 2, if one of us builds something big, like a business, a brand, a legacy, how do we share it? Question number 3 you should ask is, do you believe in prenups? And ask them why or why not. Number 4, what debts, assets, or financial responsibilities are we bringing into this relationship? And lastly, if we ever part ways, what does a fair ending look like to you?
So here is what we learned today. A prenup isn't a prediction, it's protection. It's not cold, it's clarity. And it's not just for the rich, it's for anyone with a child, a business, or a dream. So if this video made you think twice, go ahead and drop a heart in the comments down below. Tag someone who needs to hear this before they say I do. And while you're at it, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Again, I thank you guys so much for watching. I am Naomi, and this is Living the Journey with Naomi. Stay bold, stay clear, stay true. And I will see you guys in the next chapter of the journey.